Brought to you by Walmart's Hot Release Tuesday. With all the new movies, music, and video games, Tuesday's gonna be a big night. This week, pre-order Garth Brooks' The Entertainer.
Dallas, known for a primetime drama with mystery and intrigue, its latest cliffhanger, will T.O. get along with Bill? The final chapter, of course, is yet to be written, but in their own words, here's how it's been scripted so far this season in Big D.
Get your popcorn ready. Because it's going to be a show.
Could you elaborate on the issues that T.O. needs to take care of before he gets here?
Nope. Answered 35 questions on him the other day.
Everybody has their opinion. What's going on with me? What's going on with me and Bill?
Until we start, get on the field, at practice, in training camp. You won't hear anything else from me on that subject. If you're late for work 100 times, you're going to get fired probably, right?
I will try to make a more of an effort, better effort to try to get here on time.
If they don't practice, they don't play.
If I don't practice, I don't play.
Is this a Cuban Missile Crisis today?
At this point, there's no tension between us.
The only thing that's tedious to me is having talked about it all the time.
I'm just trying to be here just to clarify any of the rumors that's out there as far as me, having a suicide attempt.
When I find out what the hell is going on, you will know.
There was no suicide attempt.
Until then, I'm not getting interrogated for no reason.
That I'm probably the most hated guy coming into Philly this weekend, so, I expect the worst.
We're not going to Vietnam here now.
We're not going there to, taste the cheesesteaks. We're not going there to visit the crack in the Liberty Bell. We're going up there to try to win a ball game. I felt like I was open. There was opportunities out there for me to make some plays.
There were 5 more passes directed at him than any other receiver on the team.
You watched the game, didn't you? So we pulled the trigger.
To explain to you further would be a waste of time.
I think for me, the game is getting boring.
I have no comment on Cal.
In the first half of the last 2 ball games, I'm not really, like I said, I'm not in the ball game.
I don't want to talk about him anymore. I'm tired of it.
Always soap operas in Dallas. All right, so now we're tonight. It's Monday Night Football, his first game with Dallas on this stage. What do we expect from your former teammate, Steve?
Well, what could you expect? I mean, you start to hear whispers because he's going to get his arrows shot at him because of who he is. They're going to hear whispers about, oh, he can't get open like he used to. This offense is not really made for him. Oh, there's trouble with the coach. This is the platform today. This is the showcase that he looks for and loves because he is the most physically dominating receiver in the most physically taxing sport. And you're going to see today that he should, if all goes well, he'll catch those 4 touchdowns. He'll quiet everybody down, and he'll have that center stage. He missed it in Philly. He wanted to do it in Philly. I don't see Terrell Owens missing a second opportunity that he has tonight.
And this is huge for him. We showed the graphic earlier. Only other guy that caught more touchdowns on Monday night than T.O. is the great one, Jerry Rice, and T.O. knows that. This can be his breakout game. He's starting to get his legs under him now, build a great relationship, a rapport with Drew Bledsoe. And Drew, quick 3-step drop, putting the ball in his hand and allowing him to make plays.
Michael is talented, he is selfish, he is gifted, he is volatile, he is complex. I think the question is not if things go right. I think if things go right, we are fine. I think it is if things don't go right. If the first half you don't catch those passes, I think then he has to really watch himself. We heard earlier in this show that the Giants actually have a game plan whereby they want to take him out of the game early in the hopes that he will take it out on his teammates. I've been around pro football 35 years and have never heard that said about a player. So, it's a very complex situation. Let's hope for his sake things go well.
Do we see supposing things don't go well out of the outset, Mike? All right?
Well, from all I've talked to and all the guys I've talked about with the Cowboys right now, hey, they look to get him the ball, and rightfully so. And I think last week, Drew learned that, hey, even if he doesn't look open, let me give him an opportunity and allow him an opportunity to make a play. And that's what great receivers do.
And then there's the coach, Bill Parcells, a gentleman that we certainly got to know the year he was with us, but we know him from football. Look, His 4th year with the Giants, he won a Super Bowl. Oh, by the way, also his 8th year with the Giants. This is his 4th year with Dallas. So that means, well, you can do the math, but here's how he sounds with the Cowboys and at the beginning with the G-Men.
Let's go, Dallas. Let's go. Let's go. Now, Joe, if your heart starts fluttering, we'll send you down to county emergency. Get you recycled. Hi, mate. How are you? Oh. How the Aussies doing this morning? Billy, make sure you remind them. Now, they might try something big early. Yeah. Okay? Last time I told you guys that, you forgot to remember. Remember? I'm telling you, you better be ready to go, because it's going to be a different world for you on that deal. Don't worry about doing everything perfect now. Just get out there and run like hell and catch it, all right? All right. You know what I mean? Like a street game. You're going to be tired of me. Oh, you're going to be tired of me. You're not sick tonight, are you? Good. Your tongue's going to be hanging out. Louis, I want to see power, Louis. Oh, run with power. Run with some power. There you go. There it is. There it is. Good job. That's my compu back. We just go like this, Jace. We go. In the huddle, we go. .38 Panther. And compu back goes. I tell you, he's a stone-faced, that Barbero now. You know what the hell he's thinking. I'd hate to have to fight that son of a gun. Don't get me on the warpath, boys. It ain't pretty. Hey, fellas, this is what you work all off-season for. This is why you lift all them weights. This is why you do all that. You better think about that, because you can't play if you don't do what I tell you. You cannot play if you don't listen to what I'm saying. Come here, I want to tell you something. Come here. Now listen to me real quick. You're trying to cut me enough. I don't care. I'll tell you, you get in a fight, and you get thrown out of this game, you're going home for good, okay? Just so you know. Come on, we're running plays down here. All right, here's what we're going to do. Give me regular. Hold on. Regular. And let's go with the 76Y hook go. Now, you go tell them what we're going to do.
Sam looking for a target. He's going end zone. Touchdown!
That's a good series right there. That's the way to go. Throw it. You got it. Touchdown. Good job. Good job, O. That it? That's good, because I can't watch too much more.
Well, you just got to listen in on one of the greatest in the coaching profession of all time. Bill Parcells, 4-4 against the franchise he won his 2 Super Bowls with. Now, Ted Werder with one last team since 20 report. How about them Cowboys?
Boomer, Bill Parcells told me he came back to coach the Cowboys for one reason this year. He wanted to see if he could have that great feeling of winning it all one more time. Tonight, a huge game in that process. He's had only 2 defining victories as a Cowboys coach, beating Carolina here his first year, blowing out the Eagles here last year. He's improved the overall talent, but Jerry Jones is paying him to win Super Bowls, and he's 27-26 with no playoff wins. Tonight, a shot at the division lead before the Cowboys head into their most difficult stretch. 3 straight games on the road. For a final update on the Giants, let's go to Rachel Nichols.
Well, Ed, the Giants defense is bursting for this game to start right now. I just talked to Michael Strahan. He's 2 sacks away from tying Lawrence Taylor as the Giants' all-time leader. I said, if you get the record tonight, what's going in your trophy collection? He said, oh, I'm not just going to hold on to the ball. I may take the hand holding it also. Now, helping Strahan tonight will be starting safety Jabril Wilson. Wilson told me he is going to go tonight with that injured toe. He's got a shoe with a hole cut out. He's got his calf jammed through it. And Boomer, he's as ready to go as the rest of them.
He's a good player, Rachel. Thank you very much. He can lay some lumber. But over the weekend, it's a perfect segue. Tom, we talked a little defense. Time to go.
Yeah, time to get jacked up. Yeah. And we're in mid-season form as we start getting toward the mid-season. Let's begin with number 5. It's the Lions and the Jets. The return man extraordinaire, Eddie Drummond, going to take the ball up the middle of the field. He sees an alley, but right in that alley is Rashad Washington. You don't want to meet him in an alley like Eddie Drummond there does. He dusts himself off, but he got jacked up. And number 4, Peerless Price makes the catch. That is Chad Scott making the hit. You see Peerless Price got a little glimpse of him, but it didn't help him from getting jacked up. Number 3, David Carr, quarterback having a really good year this year, sets his sights down the field. but it's Clint Ingram on the other end of this who's setting his sights on David Carr. And David Carr got jacked up. And number 2, and you won't see this happen very often, Tom Brady on the fake reverse. Chris Kelsey never sees the reverse. He just sees Tom Brady. You know, the great thing is Tom Brady always gets up after the hit. You see Chris Kelsey coming in. Now look at the look on Tom Brady's face. He's going to get back at you, but for right now, he's jacked up. And we will get you our number 1 jacked up hit at halftime.
Can't do that to Tom.
Well,
that's not right. That's not right.
Tom Brady always comes back.
All right, well, we'll see the number 1 at halftime. We'll see, well, it's famous just about as the football team. The Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, the fans are ready for this big late October matchup for first place in the NFC East. We'll be back with our predictions right after this timeout.
Jacked Up, brought to you by HDTV, powered by DLP. It's amazing. It's the mirrors. Monday Night Countdown, delivered by UPS. What can Brown do for you? And in part by NFL.com. Vote for the 2007 Pro Bowl teams. Log on now. It's all on NFL.com. And Walmart. Always low prices. Always.
Texas Stadium, Dallas 7-1 all-time. This is the Big Blue on Monday nights. Perfect 4-0 at home, and the roof is open. So as the legend goes, God can look down on his team. Football gods were kind to us last week. We all had the Bears. One of us thought it would be close. The others didn't, but the Bears didn't win. So, Tom, 7-0. I'm 6-1. Everybody else, dust. Just dust. Who is it tonight, Tom? You're perfect.
I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys because I'm able to read the emotion in this stadium as I always can. Going for the Dolphins record here, still on track.
And you're right. And the emotions are here in the stadium. And I'm telling you, the footstep drop. I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys. Drew Bledsoe getting the ball out of his hands.
I think Dallas is doing this football because it's a statement game for the Cowboys. When they write the 06 records for the whole season, this is going to be a game that'll be the watershed for them. I think Dallas wins it.
Guys, pay attention here. Mike, Giants have 4 guys from the U. How many on the Cowboys? None. Tommy, 1 Giant from Louisville. How many in the Cowboys? None. Brigham Young, forget it. Ivy League, 1 on the Giants. Jim Finn Penn, none on the Cowboys. Therefore, Giants 24, Cowboys 23. For Tom and Mike and Steve and all of us, it's Monday Night Football. Mike Tirico and the gang. See you in the half.
Thank you, Chris. Famed Texas Stadium, 88th renewal of an NFL Classic. How about the perspective of the rivalry?
The Metrodome, Minneapolis, Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes, the Mall of America, and the resurgent Vikes. Tonight, 4-2 Minnesota squares off against AFC perennial powerhouse, the 5-1 New England Patriots, on Monday Night Football. Coming up on Monday Night Countdown.
Brady's back to throw, pulls the trigger, touchdown.
Tom Brady and the 3-time world champion Patriots have their sights set on another Super Bowl.
The ball's loose. Touchdown, Ben Lieber.
The Vikings have their own agenda, chasing down the unbeaten Bears.
Touchdown, Maloney. What a terrific run by Corey Dillon.
New England's 2-headed running back attack faces Minnesota's opportunistic defense. It's an epic battle. Who reigns supreme? Time to get revved up for Monday Night Countdown. Go Vegas!
Monday Night Countdown is delivered by UPS.
Monday night returns to Minnesota for the first time in 5 years. Here in the land of Prince, will purple rain down on the Pats? Or in the state where Bob Dylan was born, will this be positively the 4th straight win for New England? The Homer Dome, one of the loudest buildings in sports. Noise will be a factor. But the Patriots have won 9 in a row indoors. That includes some Super Bowls led by this man, Tom Brady, smiling. Pats winning again. Teddy Bruschi and the rock-solid defense. The Patriots are ready to storm Minnesota to see if they can spread their mark to 6-1. Some of the stories we're tracking tonight. Patriots are rolling. What's new? Current 3-game winning streak. They've outscored opponents 86-29. And the Vikings are one of the season's surprises. They're running well. Chester Taylor, career high 165 yards rushing last week in Seattle. And a happy Halloween from all of us here in Minneapolis tonight. To all of you at home, a day away from Halloween, we figure we'd trick-or-treat a little bit with Monday Night Football. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Berman, helping to dole out the treats. My gang, as always, Steve Young going as himself.
Healthy treats, right?
Healthy treats. Nothing but healthy treats. Michael Irvin, Tom Jackson going as themselves. Mort, what he doles out is a whole nother story. We'll get to him a little bit later. Patriots at the Vikings tonight, guys. Time to unmask what's going to happen here tonight. Michael, thoughts on this game? What are you looking at, Alf?
Well, for me, it's Ripley's believe it or not, because I've seen this before where the Vikings have a great start. In 03, they started 6-0, and then they missed the playoffs in 04, 5-1, and ended up 8-8. So now you started great. Win this game tonight against these Patriots, and it says we are contenders, not the pretenders that we have been before.
But isn't it a little unnerving with the New England Patriots when you always think that they've lost Deion Branch, they've lost all these guys, McGinnis, they're going to be down. They've got to be down. They're not down. Well, it's because they have the blueprint of post-free agency that we've watched other teams try to copy. A great owner, a great head coach, and a great quarterback. Those triplets are the key to success. I'm interested to watch them for the first time in person since the Super Bowl. Enjoy it tonight to watch some of the greats.
And yet, Steve, they're like a chameleon. They change their game depending on what they have. Last year, they were primarily a passing football team. This year, it's all about Lawrence Maroney and Corey Dillon. And you know now, as we get into November and December and January, they're going to get better at doing this. So around playoff time, watch out.
Well, you guys both hit it with New England because, yes, any team with Bill Belichick as coach and Tom Brady at quarterback, you have that certain image. But it's the times are different. They're not the Purple People Eaters for 10 years. Here's a great pass rush in Minnesota. Each one of these Patriots teams, 01, 03, 04, perhaps this year, a different character. And I think after tonight's game against the Vikings and after Sunday night's game against the Colts, Coach Belichick will know exactly what this team's 06 character will be. I'm sitting with characters. That's why I talk about it. Each week, we check in with both teams every 20 minutes with our first Teams at 20 report on the Patriots. Here's Susie Calder. Suze?
Well, Chris, some good news for the Patriots. 4-time Pro Bowl defensive end Richard Seymour will start. He's been dealing with an injured elbow all season, all week, rather. I spoke to him briefly during the pregame. He was in good spirits, and he was joking around with the player who actually caused the injury. He calls it friendly fire. Rodney Harrison flew in on a tackle last week and injured Seymour's elbow. He worked hard, extra hard, all week to get the strength back in that elbow because he knew who he would be facing. It's a great matchup to watch tonight. It's Seymour against 3-time Pro Bowl guard Steve Hutchinson and tackle Bryant McKinney. So good news for the Patriots with Seymour back. One down note for the defense. Eugene Wilson, the starting free safety, is out. Archel Hawkins will start in his place. Now for a report on the Vikings, let's go over to Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Susie, some mixed news. The Vikings are coming off their most productive game in terms of rushing offense last week at Seattle, but their wide receiver core took a bit of a hit in the injury department. Marcus Robinson, who leads the team with 3 touchdowns, will be out tonight after suffering a low back contusion in last week's game at Seattle. But the concussion twins, Travis Taylor and Troy Williamson, are both going to start tonight. That's good news because Troy Williamson leads the team with 274 receiving yards, and Travis Taylor, the other starter, is a good experienced veteran as well. But with Marcus Robinson being out, Boomer, look for Bethel Johnson to get an increased role tonight. He's a former Patriot, playing just his 2nd game in a Vikings uniform and going up against the team he spent the last 3 seasons with, Chris.
Well, Michelle, if he's in, that means he's in there to go along. Junior Seau was going to retire. What? No, he's not retired. He's in the middle, and he told me before the game, hey, Chris, it's football. It's great. Junior Seau, we'll see one of the greats as now part of this Patriots contingent. Coming up in the show, Brad Johnson navigating the Vikings back into playoff contention. Tom Brady. Sure, he's been great. He's even greater when he's inside. And Bill Belichick mic'd up in this week's soundtrack what winning sounds like. Speaking of winning, Tony Romo picked up 1 win, 1 start. What it means for the Cowboys next, we put a seatbelt on Michael, and we'll talk about last night, Dallas, big fourth quarter.
Monday Night Countdown, delivered by UPS. What can Brown do for you? And in part by Walmart. Always low prices. Always.
Big game last night. Mighty Carolina hosting reeling Dallas with Tony Romo first career start. Bill Parcells hoping the little mobility will do the Cowboys good. Wow, they're down 14-0 until Romo finds Jason Witten on a turnaround there, and the Cowboys cut it to 14-7. 3rd and 2 Cowboys second quarter. And Romo, this is what he can do. We know the front wall of Carolina, but he gets out and then he moves, Steve.
Not a bad little player, huh? First start on the road, playoff caliber team.
14-10 at the half. Fourth quarter, Cowboys trailing by 1. Drew Bledsoe, 14-13. Drew looking on. Romo to Julius Jones, 14-yard touchdown, 19-14 Cowboys. They go for 2. So Romo, since he can run, it's the draw. No. To Terrell Owens for a 2-point conversion, 21-14 Dallas. Fun! Bill Parcells, what? Mr. Humorous. Why not a 25-point fourth quarter? Afterwards, Coach Parcells.
I wrote a letter to Wellington Mara shortly before he died, and I told him that you have a fiery coach and a young quarterback, that ought to be enough to perk you up for a while. But we'll see. Let's not, let's not move this guy to Ohio yet, okay?
Meaning Canton, Ohio, of course, but 1 start, 1 win. So, Romo switch, Dallas' season, it was done, that's it. They're going to go to Carolina, they're in trouble. Oh, my God. Does it save the season?
Well, we were there 6 days ago. What a
Another
difference.
night.
6 days and what he's done for Tony Romo's done for this whole organization. Think about it. I honored Tony Romo for all the years that he's been backing up. Obviously, he was spending his time not watching the cheerleaders, but preparing every week to play emotionally, putting the time in. It's very difficult when you know you're not going to play football, and yet that one opportunity you finally get, you play like you did yesterday. Way to go, Tony. My real question is, Bill, as much as we respect you, where's Tony been?
Oh, now we're on him.
Well, look, I think because he's
like
so
flags in the wind here.
So a difficult decision for coach. But talk a little bit about technically what Tony Romo does. When you have a scrambling quarterback, it affects the defense and not only the offensive line. Yeah, it makes things easier for the offensive line, but you have to maintain some lane integrity when you have a quarterback who can do what you're watching Tony Romo do. And when you do that, you're going to get more time to throw the ball. It does make things easier on your offensive line. But I think the other thing that he's done, and Michael talks about it a lot, the energy he brings. Even in the losing effort last week, you could see that the team perked up when Tony Romo hit the football field, and now the coach is perked up as well. I have not seen Coach Parcells that happy in a long time.
Actually, I haven't seen him that sad 6 days ago.
That's correct. That's correct. Contrast.
And I say it all the time, hope will dictate your effort. As long as I know I got a chance to win, I'll continue to play hard. It's not just that they won, it's even how they won. Going down 14 is sticking with Romo and staying in there. Romo, I'm going to tell you something about this guy. I played basketball with him in the offseason. He's such a great athlete. He hangs with everybody on that football team. He is a great leader. Bill, we will not put him in Ohio, but if he continues to play like that and take him to Miami, you can put him in the Ring of Honor. I can give you that right.
1 week.
That's all. No, I say through January.
Clint Longley.
Put him in. We put him in the Ring of Honor.
Wait a minute now. Mike, my advice to you as an old man, don't get too high, don't get too low. All fair. And an advice, and I know you'll appreciate this, Steve, to Drew Bledsoe out there. Look, it looks, oh my goodness, I'm never going to get in again. But remember the championship game when Tom Brady went out in 0-1 after Brady got the job, when Drew got hurt, and Bledsoe played the second half, and they won at Pittsburgh, and they got onto the Super Bowl. You never know what's going to happen in the course of a season. Maybe he'll be called on again to bail Dallas out in a situation. Let's go to Mort now, all right? And let's bring in Chris Mortensen. So now, after a riotous couple of weeks in Dallas, all quiet on the Dallas front, but not so in San Diego. Sean Merriman, 3 sacks yesterday. but where do we go from here?
Well, Boom, as you know, he is appealing his steroid suspension, pending suspension. The hearing is supposed to be a week from tomorrow on November 7th. But Merriman just told reporters in San Diego that he plans to drop the appeal. Obviously, he means this week, because that would be the only game. And I really think the argument that's going on internally is, do you want Merriman to miss the home game against the Cleveland Browns or the back end of this suspension, which would be a road game against the Buffalo Bills? That's one aspect of this whole appeal process that I think the new commissioner, Roger Goodell, is trying to fix. He'd like to get this expedited to level the playing field, certainly competitively. The union has another viewpoint, obviously.
Mort, yesterday, late game, controversial finish to the Jets game against the Cleveland Browns. Chris Baker made a great catch. Potential game-tying touchdown on 4th down. Ruled out of bounds, ruled that he wouldn't have come down inbounds. Why was this not a reviewable play?
And the argument there was that this was either a force out or not a force out, and the officials had the discussion on the field, but they ruled that it was not a force out. What happens here is that it is a play that is not reviewable because it is subjective, and they don't want to get into judgment calls. They want to keep it to the lines and the football. In other words, they're not going to allow that referee to go to the instant replay booth and make a judgment call from there. It's got to be apply it to the rule and what have you. And that's the bottom line. Even though it's been discussed every 3 or 4 years, and it may get discussed again this January or February by the competition committee, don't expect any change on that one.
And just a personal opinion, because I know they don't differentiate between end of game and first quarter. When it's the tie or win the game and neither foot comes in, you don't usually get the call that, hey, you would have been in bounds and not reviewable. You just explained it. Well, thank you, Moore. We'll get back to you later. More news on Sean Alexander. Now, we were originally expecting to see the reigning MVP next Monday night, but Mike Holmgren said they had x-rays today again, and that broken bone still has a little crack in it. The fear is if he injures it again, it's going to be another month, so they're going to wait another week. Meanwhile, so no Alexander next week, Monday night. Still to come, fans here think guard Steve Hutchinson's worth every penny. He'll explain why. Chester Taylor would agree. He'll be featured in our Field Pass later in the show. We'll be back.
October 30, and on this day in 1974, Muhammad Ali fought the then world heavyweight boxing champion George Foreman in a bout in Zaire, known as the Rumble in the Jungle. Having been exiled from boxing for 40
Welcome back to Monday Night Countdown, delivered by UPS.
Early Christmas shopping, anyone? Drop by the Mall of America. It's where the Vikings used to play outside of the old Metropolitan Stadium. More than 520 stores. Mike, Tom, there's even something there for Tiki. Now for a Patriots Teams at 20 report. Let's bring in Wendy Stevie Nicks. Wendy, you can talk to me.
Boomer, you had to get it in there. You were going to try it, and finally you've done it. We've done it. We can move on. Well, the Patriots tonight, again, 5-1, off to their second-best start in franchise history. And, yes, that's 5-1 without David Givens, without Deion Branch and Willie McGinnis. They have done it again. It's called position flexibility, and Bill Belichick preaches it from day one of minicamp. Well, the Pats will get another chance tonight. Yes, Richard Seymour will play, but the offensive line not quite so lucky. Starting right guard Stephen Neal is out, but so is his primary backup, Russ Hochstein. This line could be tested, Boomer, as they try and open things up for Corey Dillon and Lawrence Maroney.
You know, I talked to Brad Childress, the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, a little bit ago, and it is the 5-1 Patriots. They are playing on Monday Night Football, and I asked him, what did he address the team in the last 24 to 48 hours? He said last night at the team hotel, he stressed one thing. It's a 1/16th game. He doesn't want this team getting caught up in the hype of the game and the hype of the moment. They've done things the right way all year long, Boomer, and he likes the way the team is buying into the progress that he's making one game at a time.
All right, Sal, and thank you as you forecast perfect weather in the Dome tonight. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear Tires featuring silent armor technology. Trick or treat tonight for the Vikings as they host New England for the first time in 9 years. Our primetime gang always in costume, ready to knock on a few doors. Let's send it out to Stu Jaws and the coach. Stu?
Boom, it's been almost 8 years to the day, Halloween night 1998, the last time Tom Brady was in the Metrodome for a game. He was actually riding the bench for the University of Michigan when they beat the University of Minnesota. Tonight, I'm not sure if he's riding the bench or starting.
He'll be on the field, Stu.
He's
Trust me
gonna
on
start
that.
tonight.
I think I got inside information.
Stuart Jaws coached the GMC Keys to Victory. I'm imagining somewhere in those keys to victory might be something concerning Tom Brady.
Well, my key is going to be the Vikings' power running game. It's been relentless under Brad Childress. Chester Taylor must get his 25 touches. He'll run to the left behind Bryant McKinney and Steve Hutchinson and the center Matt Burke. And if they get the running game going, that sets up the play-action passing game for Brad Johnson, coach, and he's very proficient at it.
He is, but here's a guy that's proficient at everything. That's Tom Brady. He's got a group of receivers. We call them no-name receivers. He will get the ball to Brown. He will get the ball to Gabriel. He will get the ball to Caldwell. He will get the ball to Watson. And before the end of the night, they'll be well-known receivers.
Tom Brady, for his career, including the postseason, 9-0 in domes, 19-4 against the NFC. And even though publications and women say he's hot, can he really rock the pinstripes like we rock the pinstripes?
Not at all.
Not really. Those are our GMC keys to victory. What is your key to victory? You still have time to vote. Right now, you all are agreeing with the coach. What? You say it's about Brady and the passing game. Sorry, Joss.
Oh, man.
Keys to Victory is brought to you by GMC. Log on to espn.com, search GMC each week for a chance to win an all-new 2007 Sierra. 16 weeks, 16 trucks, 16 winners.
Still ahead on Monday Night Countdown, where does LaDainian Tomlinson rank on Michael Irvin's playmakers? He better be on there somewhere, and he better be near the top.
The NBA on ESPN. The preseason is done with. Every team must now work to start the season off right, and with all the talent that's out there, that's no small task. This week, the season tips off with a marquee matchup. This could be the year for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and King James may have the backup to prove it. They must face Duncan, Ginobili, and a San Antonio Spurs team that have made changes of their own. A live opening night blowout. Cavs, Spurs, live Friday night. The NBA on ESPN.
The heart of the defense. Barber picked up the first down. Manning flushed, but launching the deep ball for Plexico Burris. Who goes up and brings it in? Touchdown Giants.
I had Cephalosha starts to drive, gives it back. Thomas. Oh, my! Oh,
that's the highlight. Away. Just a minute into the second half.
10 for the first down, 11.
A colossal Big East showdown Thursday night. National championship dreams on the line. Third-ranked and undefeated West Virginia, the BCS face fifth-ranked team from
Louisville.
Where's the game, Tom?
It is in Papa John's Stadium in Louisville, the biggest game in Cardinal history.
7:30 Eastern on ESPN. Tom promises to be watching. It used to be a colossal matchup in the AFC. Steelers against the Raiders. The Raiders have returned one against Big Ben for a touchdown. And Chris, baby, you can drive my car. Could go all the way. 100 yards, 20-6. The Raiders. Big Ben looking for Santonio Holmes, incomplete. And the Raiders, with 98 yards of offense, are going to upset the Steelers when this Hail Mary, he throws it just about far enough. Nate Washington at the 3. But it's over. And the Steelers stumbling out of the gates at 2-5, the same record as the Oakland Raiders. And it's, you know, it's easy to be Monday evening quarterback in this case, and everybody roots for Big Ben. What he's gone through in 4 or 5 months, people don't go through in 10 years, but yet now you look back, do you wonder why Big Ben started last week?
I mean, you know, look, Boomer, he's not playing well, and you always look for the reason, why is he not playing well? Well, I look at what happened in the summertime with the accident. Major head trauma. We don't know the extent of it. No one knows except him and the doctors. But we know there was something pretty significant. And then we watched him all summer. And then the fall, be very, very careful. Last week, game notes, yesterday's game notes for the Oakland Raider game from the team that he had a concussion last week. If he had a concussion, he needs to rest. That's it. If he had a concussion, he needs to rest. If you didn't have a concussion, then play some football. But if you had a concussion, as I said in the game notes, you need to take a break and make sure that you're healthy, because suddenly you have to ask yourself with how he played football yesterday, maybe.
Well, he went back to practice right away. And now, if he didn't have a concussion, got to play, got to start to win, going to be tough against Denver. Let's go to Mort now. What's the future now for Big Ben Roethlisberger? And we must remember, he is only human. He's been through a lot of things.
Quite a bit. Appendectomy, throw that in there as well. You know, Bill Cowher, the coach of the Steelers, has his press conferences on Tuesday. So it's going to be interesting to see what Cowher says. After the game yesterday, he was asked, was he still okay with Roethlisberger playing after that concussion the week before at Atlanta, and Cowher said, hey, I'm not okay with 4 interceptions. So we will see what the decision is. But during the course of the week, the Steelers believe they have access to the leading concussion specialist right there in Pittsburgh, and that Roethlisberger experienced no post-concussion symptoms, no headaches, no light sensitivity, no dizziness. They even waited till he flew cross-country to Oakland. He still had no symptoms, so they felt he was okay to go, and certainly had played well against Atlanta the week before he was hurt. So all I can tell you is that it'll be interesting to see what Cowher says tomorrow.
Well, the two teams, thank you, Mort, it will be, and Ben wants to play, we know that. The two teams that Pittsburgh beat in the AFC en route to the Super Bowl, Denver and Indy, met in quite a game in the Mile High City. Tony Dungy's Colts trying to stay undefeated, but they need Peyton Manning and Reggie Wayne to be almost perfect on the last couple of drives. The Colts complete a 2-point conversion there and go up 31-28. Mike Bell. I mean, let's not forget that Denver ran for over 200 yards against the Colts, and he goes 48 yards, setting up Jason Elam's 49-yard field goal to tie the game at 31. So guess what happens when you give Peyton a minute and a half and change? Manning to Wayne. He was 11 for 12 if you include the 2-point conversion on the last 2 drives. And then, do you wonder, look, if you put those skinny goalposts, Adam Vinatieri splits those as well. 37-yard field goal, 34-31. Peyton Manning, Vinatieri, the Colts stay undefeated, and they, of course, travel to New England next Sunday night to meet the Patriots, and we'll see what happens. So that'll be quite a game as well. Plenty of playmakers there. Yep. What about playmakers? Yes.
You got a few, Mike? You got
a few?
Just a few.
From that game.
And I'm going to play a little bit with the theme here, and it's run, son, run. These are my playmakers. Let's get to the 5 guys that made the winning difference yesterday. Larry Johnson, Kansas City running back. I'm talking about a franchise record, 39 rushes. Run, son, run. 155 yards, 4 TDs. He even had one out of the backfield catching the football. And I'm telling you, he is starting to come on and run well. Now, my number 4 guy is LaDainian Tomlinson. And I'm telling you, this is run, son, run. He's rushed 25 times yesterday, Steve, 183 yards against the St. Louis Rams. Now he has 10 TDs this season. His first 6 seasons, over 10 TDs at least. The only other people to do it is Emmitt Smith and your great James Brown. Now, get this right here. I'm changing the themes. This is my buddy and me. That's where I'm going with this. Damon Hewitt and Eddie Kinnison. Damon Hewitt completed 6 passes to Eddie Kinnison for 132 yards. My buddy and me.
I thought it was
Number 2,
throw.
Peyton Manning and Reggie Wayne. My buddy and me. Manning completed 10 passes to him for 138 yards, 3 TDs with the boy from the U. And you know my number 1, my buddy and me. My buddy and me is the TNT boys. Tony Romo to T.O. Now get this now, in his first start, 270 yards and a TD. That's my buddy and me. And look at that, my buddy and me. Hey, Coach. Hey, my buddy and me. I love that part right there. My buddy and me. That was good stuff.
Looked like the Artful Dodger there with that.
T.O.'s got a great smile.
A little of that.
Got a twinkle in his eye.
They didn't put that on the camera. That was natural,
that's
wasn't
real.
it?
That was all right. That was good.
Well, tonight,
the natural bling.
Tonight, if you missed us at the start of the show, Susie Colbert reporter Richard Seymour. He's here. Arm will be padded up. He's ready to go for that front wall of the New England Patriots. That's good news for the 5-1 P-Men. He'll be going up against, among others, Steve Hutchinson, all-pro addition of the Viking line. What motivates Minnesota's $49 million man? And his comeback last season touched us all. Teddy Bruschi's making one special fan's dream come true. That's coming up.
You are watching Monday Night Countdown, delivered by UPS.
There you go, baby.
Grab an oar, because we're heading to the land of 10,000 lakes in this edition of Local Legends. Well, actually, there's 11,842 lakes, but who's counting? The Twin Cities are home to so many sports heroes, you can barely fit them into the Mall of America. Bud Grant's Purple People Eaters, Fran Tarkenton, and 4 Super Bowl appearances in 8 seasons, all losses. Baseball means Homer Hankies for the Homer Dome. The Twins won a pair of World Series titles. And who can ever forget Kirby Puckett and Jack Morris in '91? They love their pucks here, but don't overlook the hoops and 2 game-changing Minnesota stars, George Mikan and Kevin Garnett. And we just can't leave out a few Minnesota natives, starting with wrestler-turned-governor Jesse the Body Ventura, rock legends Bob Dylan and Prince, and the leader of the new frat pack, actor Vince Vaughn. We saw him last week in Dallas. Cowboys Hall of Fame running back Tony Dorsett in this building from his own one, January 3rd, 1983. I feel confident in this. It's a record that'll never be broken because it's a 99-yard run from scrimmage and into the history books of the Vikings won the game that night. Now, a Minnesota record from scrimmage just last week as Steve Hutchinson will make a block for Chester Taylor in Seattle as the Vikings ended that year-and-a-half winning streak by the Seahawks at home, and he goes 95 yards. Taylor with Hutchinson springing him early into the Viking record books. From 2003 through 2005, the left side of Seattle's line was football's best. Guard Steve Hutchinson, tackle Walter Jones, they were immovable, except in Hawaii for 3 straight Pro Bowls. Together, they paved the way for Sean Alexander's MVP season, and they protected Matt Hasselbeck's blind side. The past offseason, of course, Hutch left Seattle to ink a 7-year deal with $49 million, the highest paid guard in the league. Steve is proving to be worth his weight.
I'm Steve Hutchinson. My friends call me Hutch. Always have, probably always will. I play left guard for the Minnesota Vikings. I'm about 6'5", 310 pounds on a good day. Before every game, I think the only ritual I kind of have that I have to do is I take ammonia capsules and I'll break it and kind of rub it, you know, wave it in front of your nose, and it kind of wakes you up a little bit. They're good enough to wake somebody up that's been knocked out, so it's probably killing brain cells that I can't afford to spare, but type of mentality it takes to play guard in the NFL. You got to be a team player. I think you got to be selfless. A lot of times you're giving up your body just to help the guy next to you. You know, a lot of people are saying, how's a guard worth, you know, all that money? I don't have an answer for it. If we got a running back that's gaining great yards and an offense that's efficient in scoring points and helping our team win, I think that's the only way I can be evaluated. It doesn't matter what the contract or anything money-wise. I'm going to try to go out there and do my best. I want to win. I want to play as good as I can and be considered, you know, an ultimate team player. That's my motivation.
Well, you can see the difference with Hutchinson on the left side. Rushing attempts up from a year ago. Vikes rushing for 25 more yards a game. 3 individual 100-yard rushing games equals all of last season. At least my view is Hutchinson has changed the personality of the team. The offensive line, McKinney left tackle, Hutchinson left guard, Matt Burke from Harvard, the center. I mean, that is down, gritty. We don't care if we're indoors or outside in January. We're going to play tough, and it's spilled over the defensive line. It's changed the personality of this team. Now, put a price tag on it, and you go, wow, a guard that much? You think he's worth the money, Steve?
You cannot overpay for a player, a great player that you need on your football team. It's impossible. And they needed him for many reasons. First of all, just from a personality standpoint, the stability that he brings to the team in the locker room. You've seen him on TV just recently, just the last couple of minutes. He's a great locker room guy. Also, he is going to protect a quarterback that can't move around very much. So he's going to be a big part of how Brad Johnson plays. Steve Hutchinson cannot be overpaid.
Yeah, and I thought he was at first. Of course, what are you, lineman? He's a fat guy. Just keep your fat self in front of other fat guys. But really, this guy is all about the attitude, and he brings the attitude, and he sets the tone for this whole offensive line. And I think about back to the days we had Eric Williams and Larry Allen, and when those guys came out ready to play, the whole football.
No, that's the problem with you. You spend all your time over by the sidelines near the Gatorade. You don't know what goes on between the hashes.
Exactly.
You have no appreciation for all those big boys, do you?
No,
Did they ever protect you?
No, but they
did not protect
protect you. Get the ball.
Yeah.
You know, you guys talk about what he does for the offense, but I think he also does something for the defense as well. When you have big road graders like they talk about, especially on the left side of that line, they become an outstanding rush offense. You practice against them daily, you become a special defense in terms of stopping the run. Coming into the weekend, Vikings #1 rush defense in football. So, yeah, I think he is worth it because he's not only affecting the offense, he's affecting the defense as well.
I saw something I've never seen before as I drove to the Metrodome just a few minutes ago, up on the billboard with a big, sign that Steve Hutchinson's shilling something out on. He's like famous now because of this.
Well, here's what, and there are not many guards in the pure guards in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but what you get with Steve Hutchinson, and let me just get it back down to him, is what New England fans will know you got with John Hanna. I'm not trying to compare the two. Hanna was great, but with John Hanna, you knew what you got every game, straightforward, and there is no waiver in the way Steve Hutchinson plays guard, and he's given it to Minnesota. Every game has gone out there. That's why they're a playoff contender. Now, with more on the Vikings, let's send it to Sal Palantonio with another Teams at 20 report. Sal?
Hey, Boom, you're talking about Steve Hutchinson. He's done two things for this Vikings team, what Brad Childress wanted to do. Instill a culture of accountability on and off the football field, and also make the running game the foundation of what they do. And Chester Taylor has 137 carries tonight. He could reach 160 in week 8. That it would be his career high. So that's what they're trying to do, but they have not faced a 3-4 defense all season long. So it'll be a much different front. I asked Brad Childress about that. He said they have a lot of multiple fronts, exactly what most teams do, but they do it very well. Now for a report on the Patriots, here's Wendy Nix.
Thank you, Sal. Well, in New England, they've been called everything from New England slam chowder to the weapons of grass destruction. And truthfully, the running back tandem of Corey Dillon and Lawrence Moreeeee has worked out about as well as Bill Belichick could have hoped. Moreeeee leading all rookies with 361 rushing yards, and Dillon looks like the back that got the Patriots to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Moreeeee said, believe it or not, we hang out all the time after practice, and he feels like this situation is better for them both because, in his words, it limits the wear and tear on both of their bodies. The question tonight, though, Boomer, can either of these guys get something going against the league's top-ranked run defense?
And all those Williamses up front, Wendy, thank you. And you mentioned Lawrence Moreeeee. What a homecoming for him tonight. The second all-time leading rusher at Minnesota behind Darrell Thompson. Almost 4,000 yards in college. This against Wisconsin last year on this field in the Dome. 43 carries for 258 yards. So there he was as a collegian. Now look at him just take the toss. There is a, you're going to get no, you're not going to get no, and you're gone. Now Moreeeee, New England's leading rusher, 361 yards and 3 TDs. Quieter the last couple of weeks, but somehow you think he'd like to not be quiet tonight. A lot of tickets he had to dole out. Tom Brady among those who love to see Moreeeee replicate that Metrodome performance. Coming up, just how terrific has Tom been on Monday nights, like all the other days. We'll be back.